I know what you've been waiting for. You've been waiting for a PhD update, and I'm going to give it to you because I've finally gone through some of the hurdles and challenges of a PhD. And what I've also come to share is that this experience is going to look different for anyone. So if you're a student that you're looking to do your PhD, please be warned. This is going to look different for everyone. And if you are someone that is just interested in what a PhD entails or what I'm doing, thank you for joining the conversation. Make sure you check out what my PhD is about in another video that I've posted on my channel, and stick around to find out what I've been getting up to in what is like between the first and second year. It has been a really interesting time, and I've had what we would just call a 9 to 18 month review. So that is one of the first reviews that you have in your PhD that kind of highlights the work and the research that you're going to be doing and showing your understanding of the literature. So in my case, I had to demonstrate what frameworks and theories I was going to be leaning on to conduct my research, outlining my methodology, and just kind of the foundational work of why my research is relevant and important. So that has been what I've been working on. It took a 3-month sabbatical / break towards the end of last year and came back in January. So January to May, that has been my only goal and focusing on my 9 to 18 month review. Now, when I tell you, it has been one of the most interesting journeys trying to articulate why I'm passionate about the area that I'm studying, especially because there's not much literature about it. There's not much going on in the space regarding this specific conversation. We're looking at race and the intersectionality that exists between neurodiversity and neurodivergence. Specifically, my research looks at ADHD and autism. So it has been really challenging, kind of underpinning the literature, but it has been done. So in my 9-month review, I set out a document. I think the document was around 22 pages. So between 10 and 15,000 words, and then it goes before a panel. Now, one of my kind of interesting features is that I don't necessarily get nervous or anxious when I'm going in front of a panel. I kind of out of sight, out of mind it, and I get there and I'm just like, this is interesting.
That's pretty interesting.
This is cool. But I made a mental note, I need to start like actually taking time to really prepare for things. But I was like, okay, I've done all this work. I've been reading this to the point where it's pretty close to the deadline that I've still been engaging with my content that I've been writing. And I went into the panel, and the panel was very insightful. So I would encourage or implore you to explore, especially if you're doing a PhD, is what is the purpose of the panel? So one of my key questions to my supervisor was, is the panel supposed to help me or are they supposed to critique me? Because obviously that changes the frame of preparation, and it also allows me to understand, do I need to prepare to defend, or do I need to be prepared to just engage in discourse, conversations and discussions? And one of the things that kind of lightened that load is that the panel is supposed to be there to help you. So in that time, they had complemented the piece of work that I'd written, and they'd also highlighted some gaps and perspectives that I might want to consider. So at this early stage, they are trying to provide you with a full scope of some of the research considerations that you need to include to ensure that your research achieves what you want it to achieve, and then it's successful. Like the percentage rate of PhD completion is really low. So these sorts of checkpoints are really important to kind of keep you on track, keep you motivated, keep you engaged, and keep you really like going through the whole body of research. So that was really interesting and insightful and valuable contribution that it really motivated and encouraged me to be like, okay, cool, I've got this, I'm on to the next step. Because to be fair, I have always struggled with academic writing all the way from my bachelor's into my PGCE, into my master's. I've struggled with academic writing, something that has always been noted on my feedback, and something at one stage of my academic journey was absolutely brutally addressed in one of the worst and rudest ways, which had its own complaints process that had to be followed, because it was just like, this is not constructive criticism, you are being rude.
This is a problem for me.
And that really set me back and discouraged me to the point where I spent a lot of my early stage of my PhD not wanting to write things down. So I'd make notes, I'd have like scrappy bits from like where I've read stuff and when I've been doing stuff. But I never actually sat down and wrote a full piece or body of work, because I was really self-conscious about the fact that I've always been told I'm not good at academic writing, so why would I continue? And you might say, then why did you do a PhD? I wanted to do my PhD. I was going to figure it out. But that was one of the areas that really set me back. So in this process of doing the 9-month review document, which is, as I said, almost like 22 pages or so, it really challenged me to keep going and just keep motivated, because I think a lot of people, especially on their academic journey, they hit points where it's like, this has actually been quite a defining moment, and getting that feedback was such a defining moment and very difficult for me that it's not until recently that I realized how much I internalized it. My supervisor would always be like, write, Mercy, just write. And I'd be like, okay, sure, I'll think about writing. But actually writing down the things really put like my research in, it really brought the research to life and what I'm looking at and what I'm trying to explore. So that has been really phenomenal to get that feedback. The next stage I'm on now is I'm going to be going through the ethics process. So I've been on my course for over 1.5 years now, but obviously I had the sabbatical and break and an element of part-time. So I've now really solidified the foundation of my research, the methodology, and what I'm going to be doing, especially with the outcome of that review. I was able to make some adjustments and changes where necessary. The next step now is for me to go through the ethics process. And if you're not in the world of academia, before you can data collect information from participants, you need to have ethics approval from the university. And that essentially covers you, covers your participants, and ensures that what you are doing is not to the detriment and harm of other people that are going to be involved. So that will be the next process I'm going through. Applying for that and waiting for approval, and then I will be doing data collection, and that data collection period will look like probably around 1 year of just using anthropological techniques such as ethnography, but also bioethnography, and key contacts case studies to kind of trace what ADHD and autism looks like for Black people as well, and how race impacts that. So that's a really exciting bit. But I think for me, especially as I review how far I've come at this point of my research, there are several key things that have really, really like helped me. One of them being my supervisor. I cannot relate to the experience that some of the PhD students have in terms of having bad supervisory meetings and panels. My supervisor has been absolutely phenomenal. Like, he is incredible, and if he wasn't going to be my supervisor, I wouldn't do my PhD. Like, that was one of the reasons why I stuck with my university. Oh, it's so hot. It looks like I'm sweating, but it's hot. We're almost in summer. But if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't pursue my PhD. His ability to communicate, encourage, his insight, his knowledge, his temperament has been absolutely perfect for me. Especially with some of the challenges I have with like writing and just conveying information in an academic way. He's been brilliant with doing that. So that's number one. If you are thinking of doing a PhD, or you are in one right now, your supervisor will make or break your experience, and mine is surely making that experience great. The second one is identifying what software and systems you are going to be using. That is paramount. Like, now that I've been in it for a while, I've kind of got my routine set out. I understand what's going on, so I'll quickly list them for you. For my PhD, I have my iPad, the Pro, not the Near Pro, but a Pro. That's really deliberate because I use it for my reading and any sort of research-based stuff regarding my PhD, because I can do that on the go. I don't have to lump books and articles around with me because I'm one of those people that can print articles and read them. So I have my iPad, and I also use an app called Zotero. I hope I'm saying it right. It's a database where you can add all of your literature that you're reading. You can customize your library. You can create your bibliography, your references. It is a very comprehensive app. And if you are not using that app, I don't know how you're doing it, because it just houses everything regarding your reading and literature for your PhD. So that's an app that I'm using. I also use cloud-based services like OneDrive and things like that to store collaborative documents. So when I say collaborative, I mean if I'm writing out a piece of work, I put it in that live folder and I share it with my supervisor so he can keep track of what I'm doing and can proofread alongside what I'm doing as well. I use my calendars for time blocking. So I have a time blocking system throughout the week where I allocate significant time blocks to my PhD work. And I also have almost like a project plan of my PhD right now, because I think one of the traps that you can fall into is not having an end date for your PhD. I want to be done with my PhD in 2 years. So I've got a very comprehensive plan that speaks to how I'm going to achieve that and the steps that I need to be taking as well. And that also informs your time blocking to ensure that you are actually matching your efforts with your objective. Those are the key things that I have. I've also set up, like, if you go uni in the UK, you can use other libraries, you just need to sign up. I found that really important so that when I'm ready to like be out in the field and start data collecting, that I can just pop into any of the university libraries that are local and just spend some alone time researching, studying, writing, whatever it is that I want to do. So that's going to be really helpful as well, because my uni is far. I wasn't trying to pick a uni that was close to me just for convenience, because I knew that we had that interchangeable library experience as well. My final piece of advice is keep a balanced life. I think that, again, all PhD experiences are very, very different, and some are more full-time. Like, some people will choose to approach it in a very kind of, this is my whole life kind of thing. For me, that was just not going to work. I maintain a balance with doing things that I enjoy, things that I'm interested in, hanging out with my friends. Like, you need that balance to stay sane. It is a very intense time, and you don't want to lose relationships and experiences because you've chosen to do this. Remember, it is only going to be potentially like 4 to 6 years of your life. You don't want to have burnt your own personal life because of it. Like, people will be understanding. Like, I think my community and village are quite understanding about me doing my PhD. So yeah, I might not do certain things if I've got deadlines. I might not be available if I'm reading or know that I have to do something, but I'm not going to burn relationships on behalf of this as well, because it is such a short stint of time. When you think about it, it's just not worth it. So I think striking a balance, and also making sure you're adopting hobbies and things that you enjoy. Like, I still go to the gym, obviously, I'm in my fitness bag, but still going to the gym, still finding time to do things that I like that are away from my PhD, just to keep the thrill in my life. So that has been really, really important, and I think that's actually what will be the next modern day game changer for PhD researchers. Sometimes it's a bit taboo. So you'll hear, like, I can't be where you work, I can't. I'm not a funded PhD student, so I'm very much going to live my life and get my PhD done to a very excellent standard as well. Next one is take breaks when you need them. Last year, I knew that my plate was a little bit full with like some personal matters in life and just some personal experiences. And I just went on what they call abeyance for 3 months. And I just said, for 3 months, I'm just gonna switch off and figure out my personal life and then come back. So don't be afraid to take breaks, and don't be like compelled to stick at it. Just don't quit. I thought about it. I was like, maybe, but no, I just needed a break. Take a break. If you feel overwhelmed and you're just like, life is just getting the best of me, take a break. It's not gonna hurt you, it's not gonna illness you, just take a break. You'll be fine. And you can come back renewed, because taking that break has propelled my progress a lot further than I could ever imagine, because I actually got a moment to reset, regroup, and I've came back with like a vengeance, and I'm just like, I'm gonna do my PhD. So that is really, really crucial and really, really important. But as always, if you have made it all the way to the end of this video, drop a brown heart in the comments. And if you have any questions, if you're about to start your PhD and you have any questions, feel free to pick my brains. I've got an email in one of my bios here on YouTube. Just drop me an email and I will most definitely get back to you. And yeah, drop it in the comments if you want to as well. But also like, comment and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your friend to tell all their friends, so that we can get to 100 subscribers. Oh my gosh, we're so close but yet so far away. But we can most definitely do this. So I appreciate you for sticking all the way to the end with me. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok. And have a lovely day. Stay blessed. Stay absolutely blessed and highly favored. Hallelujah.